Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Shonen Chomp. My name is Chris, and this is Steve.
Hey.
We're here to talk about anime, and if it sounds like we're in an animal kingdom, that's because we are. You can follow us on Twitter at Shonen Chomp, the Anime Kingdom. You can follow us on Twitter at Shonen Chomp, and you can follow us on YouTube, or subscribe to us. Is that a thing? Yeah. On YouTube at youtube.com/Shonen Chomp.
A YouTube channel that you asked for subscribers on to change your name.
That's right.
You don't know if you subscribe on YouTube?
I'm not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, Steve, how are you? How are you, my dear friend?
Good.
Wait,
Don't change the subject.
was it too close to the microphone? Listen, I asked for them to subscribe to me, and they came through.
Yeah.
So, but I've never subscribed to anybody on YouTube, so I don't know what it's called.
To like those same 3 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That no one, that you like, I don't even watch these videos. You just search them all.
Yeah,
like
that's right.
Savage.
Yep. I'm a real piece of shit when it comes to YouTube.
It's not even.
I dislike every video I watch.
Yeah. Just like.
Because
this video was great. Just like.
I prefer the thumbs down to the thumbs up. Because I'm not a fucking poser, bro.
It's true. I don't know why you're staring at me a lot. There's a camera.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that maybe we should sit looking at each other. That's not important to the audio listeners.
It'd be really hard to do it with this mic, though. Because, like, you only really get the sound from the front.
Yeah.
So one of us wouldn't really get
Mike,
sound.
do you think I'm too far into the mic?
I think you're basically making out with it.
Well, that's what I wanted. I'll lean back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
good. Anyway,
so what's
talk
new?
about anime?
Yeah. I don't actually have any news this week because
you're both.
Because I'm a poser. I was looking
fake
through.
News girl?
I'm a fake news girl. I've been looking through the news all week, and I was just like, I don't really care that much.
Wow.
Well, it's just like it's new. Anyway, I did see. I think the article about Taite Kubo. I think it's Taite.
What's gotta be? No, it's tight.
It's tight. It's Tight Kubo.
You've
We're
seen
gonna
the
call
guy.
him that.
His name's Tight Kubo.
Kubo Sensei, creator of Bleach. He came out and said he returned to Twitter to ask people to help him out with something. Essentially, long story short, he was like wanted to quit Bleach about halfway through because it wasn't going the way that he wanted it to go, and he was under a ton of pressure from the publisher, and was like, yeah, I don't really know how much I want to do this anymore. Like, he was constantly sick and under a ton of stress, and obviously Bleach took a pretty like steep drop in quality. But then he said that he got a letter from a sick little boy being like, this is the only thing that makes me happy, and I want you to keep writing Bleach.
Animal Kingdom right there.
I see. Yeah, that's the Animal Kingdom. All of Steve's pets are in the room. That's why we said Animal Kingdom earlier. And she's just really digging at the carpet, man. She hates anime.
She loves anime.
So Kubo was, he said he got this letter from a sick kid, and the kid wanted him to write the manga the way that he wanted to do it. And so Kubo was like, that like gave me inspiration to keep going. But also in the letter, the kid said that he wanted it to be sent after he died. So So Kubo got this letter from like a sick kid who had already passed away, and being like, oh shit, well I need to make sure that I end the manga the way I want it. So like that final chapter, which isn't out in the West yet, is exactly how he had always like planned on ending it. But just everything leading up to that got kind of messy and whatever. But it was still, it gave some insight into like the whole situation of it all, him constantly being sick, him being under a ton of pressure from the publisher, and basically being like, I don't want to do this anymore because it isn't fun. But a little boy basically telling him like, it still matters to some people.
Yeah.
So please continue. Please do your best, I imagine, was said in there. They say things like that quite a lot over there.
Well, they?
It's a Japanese. The Japanese. They're very supportive sometimes. But yeah, that's really the only new piece of thing. Because Kubo put it out on Twitter in Japan that he wanted people to try and help him find the parents of the young boy because he wanted to thank them for. Whatever. It sounds like I'm going to get choked up, but I really just need to clear my throat. I'm going to do it off mic.
Probably so hard.
Okay.
I can't hear. I'm not in the cut.
What's new? You're not in the cut. What's new with you?
Nothing. Watching anime. I was gonna, I haven't really behind on Zeta and Kiss Him Not Me, but I was like, I'll wait because it doesn't really, don't really talk about it much anyway. So I was like, I'll watch something new, and then I didn't watch anything new. I just watched old stuff or rewatched old stuff.
Oh, what did you watch?
Well, one of them. Well, you know both of them. But, so, I was going through my queue, and I was like, maybe I'll watch something new. Which obviously didn't happen. Then I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, I should watch, Toradora again, because I want to watch, I've never seen the second season, and that came out, years ago. I like that show.
Yeah.
watched first 2 episodes of that, and then you started talking about Toradora, so I was like, now I gotta go rewatch Toradora first, and then I'll go back and watch Toradora.
I know that we have mentioned Toradora on here before, like
Yeah.
early in one of the earlier episodes, but have we really like talked about like what it's about? Like,
I don't think
full on?
so. I don't remember.
Do you want to describe it? Because I can just give my thoughts on it.
Um,
You're the Toradora pro.
Well, I mean, I just watched it before you did. You're the one who's just like getting into it and yelling.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so mad at that one episode.
it's episode 2.
Dude, she was so brave. She was so brave, and he didn't even care. I mean, I get it now.
We know why, but it's a show, romantic comedy, rom-com,
A
as some
rom-com.
say. As is...
Quick cue. Is excuse me. Excuse me.
Don't touch that.
Is rom-com your favorite genre now of anime?
I don't know. I mean, I've watched a lot of it, but I've watched just a bunch of stuff, so... the only thing is, it seems like it is, 'cause I kept giving you a bunch of suggestions, but, like, I was literally looking through, like, Crunchyroll, being like, oh, what would they like? And I was like, oh, well, let's look at all the rom-coms. Like, oh, I've watched, like, half of these shows.
Sure.
I don't know, it's up there. It's pretty good.
So back to Toradora.
Rom-com, there's a kid, looks like a delinquent, not a delinquent.
He's not a delinquent. He's a nice boy.
Really good boy.
I'm gonna be the hype man from back here.
And there's, his name's Ryuji.
His name's I can't hype that one. The dragon, right?
It's just, yeah, dragon.
Dragon.
So, dragon. Ryu is dragon, so.
Yeah.
In this sense, because obviously Ryu means other things besides dragon.
Of course.
Then there's Taiga, little short girl. Kind of actually is a delinquent.
She carries around a wooden sword.
Yeah, and she dresses more like a delinquent. No, she doesn't.
She's a badass, though.
Yeah. They end up, through a series of events, like, meeting up and being like, oh, hey, we like each other's best friends. Let's, like, team up so we can date each other's best friends.
Yeah.
Like, help each other out to do it. And then that's most of the show. Other stuff happens.
So I knew that going in. I also know how it ends, but not that that's really important. But the first episode where Taiga breaks into Ryuji's house,
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time, I was telling you this, like, reading, like, creepy stories and stuff online. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, freak the fuck out. I was like, this girl just broke into his house, and he's handling it way too well. But obviously it's just supposed to be funny, because she was embarrassed by something, so she was like, I have to go kill him now, because he's going to tell everybody my secret that I have a crush on this boy. And it also reveals that they live right next door, so she just jumped from her balcony to his. I mean, still a criminal act.
It is. It's 100% a criminal act.
But so she comes in with her wooden sword and starts, like, trying to beat the shit out of him. She puts a hole in his wall. But the way that they animate her, and the way that she attacks, everything she does seems like it has, this is a weird observation to have, I guess, but it seems like it has a ton of weight to it. Like, when she swings her sword, she just puts the hole in the wall rather than, like, destroying it. But it's, like, more realistic and more, like, intense.
Yeah.
Like, she's just this, like, compact, like, she's like a stick of dynamite. And there's some scene in, like, a couple episodes later where she does, like, a flying kick at his head and he ducks it.
Yeah.
But when they did it, I mean, that's shit that they do in anime all the time, but when she, like, flies over his head, I was like, that would have fucking killed him. That's all I can think is how much damage this girl will do. She's tiny. She has a ton of hair.
She does have a ton of hair. She's all hair.
She's all hair and a wooden sword.
Yeah.
The show is the show's really funny. The supporting cast is really funny. I think it's the second episode that I was just talking about, where she has to, like, confess her feelings.
Yeah.
And I was saying she was just so brave. Little Taiga was so brave, and then the other guy's like, yeah, okay, let's be friends. And she's like, no, it's not. She's not saying she wants to be your friend. I understand the situation. I won't give any more spoilers, but there's a lot of, like, emotional resonance. There's a lot of comedy.
What episode are you on?
I'm on episode 5 or 6.
Okay, so you're not even getting to, like,
Yeah, no, I'm not into the
You're still on,
heavy
like,
shit
the
yet.
goofy, funny stuff.
Although Jess finished it, and I think in 3 days.
Choose an animal.
Yeah. Well, she thought there was 50 episodes because on Crunchyroll the dub is listed after
Yeah.
the sub, but it's just listed as if it's, like, one thing, kind of.
Yeah, they don't break it up.
So she was like, "Oh, that's just season 2, right?" I was like, "No, sorry." She was disappointed. She wanted 50 episodes. That's how much
Shame.
she liked it.
It's a shame.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good show, though.
Yeah, it's a really
Funny.
good show. It's got a lot of
Funny,
heart.
sad at times, emotional.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when I try to explain why I like Nozaki-kun so much, it's hard. It's just hard to, like, put my finger on. It just, like, makes me feel good watching it. I get a very similar vibe from Toradora.
Yeah, Toradora is a lot heavier than.
Yeah, you can tell already.
Because Nozaki-kun's just, like, pure comedy, and it's, like, not really anything serious in it.
No.
Ever. At all.
No.
It's like, because it's always like, oh, you get kind of sad when she's, like, trying to confess and doesn't work out, but then it's immediately just, like, something funny happens,
Right.
or it's, like, a funny
It's a
situation for
feel-good
why.
show. Toradora is like a comedy drama.
Yeah. My favorite part about Toradora, though, is that he just wears, like, those pink boxers at home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wears a t-shirt and pink boxers, and that's it.
Yeah.
Doesn't wear, like, clothes when he gets home.
And I know that, you probably said it before, he's, like, a neat freak.
Oh, I didn't
So
say
he
that, but
constantly, he's just cleaning out. His mother is, I think she used to date somebody in the Yakuza. And that's why he looks the way that he does. 'Cause she's like, "Oh, you look like your father."
That's the way her dad looks. His dad looks. Yeah.
He used to like. She was like, "Oh, he used to like roll up magazines in like under his like in his waistband, so that if anybody stabbed him, he would be okay." So yeah, Ryuji, since he doesn't have a dad around, and his mom's like this like drunk mess, he's just constantly.
She's not a drunk mess. She just sleeps.
She just sleeps.
She works at night, so she sleeps during the day.
She's a drunk mess.
And she's just like she's never. She's not.
No, I know. Yeah, he's
like a goofball.
So he's like independent. He cooks for her, and then he ends up cooking for his neighbor Taiga. He cleans up after both of them, and that's just like his duty. This is a scene of him like on bathroom cleaning duty at school, and he's got like the toothbrush, and he's just like scrubbing the plaque off the walls, talking to himself, going crazy. Then Taiga comes in and like starts yelling at him, and he's like, "What are you doing in the boys' bathroom?" She's like, "What are you doing talking to yourself? Like, let's go, come on." So she pulls him out. I don't remember even what they have to go do, but she pulls him out of there, and then for like the next, she wants to go take pictures of the boy she likes. And so they go to the baseball field. And for that entire scene, Ryuji is still just dressed in his, like, cleaning uniform. He has, like, these pink gloves on. I was expecting them to just, like, switch back to his school uniform at some point, as, you know, they normally would in anime. Nope, he's still just got his cleaning clothes on.
Yeah, he's, like, it's one of his, like, things. He just, I don't think it has anything to do, I think it just, like, has anything to do with his, like, upbringing. I think he's just a neat freak.
Yeah.
Like, it's, like, just, like, one of his characteristics, because he's always just, like, oh, I gotta clean this. Like, the first episode, when he goes to her, it is the first episode, when he goes to her house, and her house is just a mess, he's just like, what the fuck? Like, I can't stop myself. I have to clean this. This is disgusting. But then, like, going to the sink, and the sink's, like, full of, like,
he
water
doesn't,
or whatever.
he's like, what? It was all, like clogged up from food that had piled in there. Meanwhile, she's just sleeping, and it's the only time that she, like, looks like a human being, because the rest of the time she's just, like, a fiery ball of anger and hair. But when she's sleeping, she looks really normal. And he just casually enters her apartment.
Cleans the entire thing.
I mean, she broke into his house. He just walks into hers. I think he's like, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, he opens it. I think her door's unlocked.
I think he makes her breakfast because he's like, all right, I'll make you food.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to be like her, like a lapdog.
I think she's like, yeah, you're my lapdog. Come, like, walk me to school in the morning. He's like, hey, you're not outside. And then he goes to, like, see her. And he's like, oh, the door's open. So she must just be, like, awake, getting ready or whatever. And then he's like, oh, no, she's asleep, and he runs her house.
What's the name of the red-haired girl?
Oh, I can't remember.
It's the girl that I'm doing the show a disservice by not remembering it, but it's the girl that Ryuji actually likes.
Yeah.
And
I can't. It's like on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it.
And that's the girl that I want to be. It's not. This isn't like I'm not talking about waifus or any of that shit. I just want to be this girl. She has 2,000 personalities, and she's absolutely insane. But she's so super positive. Like when they get like locked in a shed together, and he's like trying not to freak out, and she's also trying not to freak out, but she just stays like super brave the whole time. Yeah. It's constantly giving thumbs up, makes them play baseball. She's also on the softball team.
Yeah.
She's just very cool. She's very crazy.
Has, like, 16 jobs.
She's everywhere they go, and I think it's episode 4. Everywhere they go, she's working there.
Or, episode 3 or 4. One of them, whenever it's like they go to the restaurant and she's there, and then there's like that's one where they get trapped. I think there's probably another one. But yeah, she has like 7 jobs. She has a different job like every day of the week, and is also part of the softball team. Yeah. She's the captain of the softball team.
And she's just very positive. She's just a lot of fun. That's why I want to be. I want to be that person. I want to be that teenage girl.
Like, is it Minase? No.
I'll look it up. How about that?
It's definitely something with M.
Vamp for me.
I don't know. I can't. You put me on the spot here. I can't really think of anything. Good show. Would recommend.
How good is that intro though?
Intro is fucking fantastic.
Can you sing it for listeners at home?
No, I can't. It's too difficult for me. It's very quick. It's Japanese, so that also hinders me.
When did you watch this?
Originally? 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's from a couple years ago, right?
It's pretty decently old.
Is her name Minori?
Yeah, Minorin. That's what Taka calls her. And there's when there's the
There she is.
It's not gonna probably.
I'm gonna hold it up for the.
Oh, there you go. Actually, it did show up pretty well.
Yeah. All right.
You're terrible at the angle though.
Like I had to reach over the mic. So Toradora. Whoa, great show. I don't know why. I mean, I sleep on everything for a really long time. That's just how I am.
Yeah. I mean, by the time I watched it, it was like a year or two after it came out. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, it's another one of those shows where you're like, it's just as good as everyone says.
Yeah, absolutely.
People aren't lying.
Nothing creepy about it either.
Not really.
That's as far as I've seen. Usually, if a show's gonna have something creepy in it, it's usually in
I can't
episode
remember
1.
it being like there's nothing like pervy about it. I'm sure there's like disturbing stuff, but or it's just like I don't think there's anything too bad.
I mean, well, she did break into his house with a wooden sword and try to kill him.
but that's it
it wasn't pervy. It was just creepy.
she just wanted she wanted to kill him and then didn't happen. But unfortunately, he's alive. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Yikes.
What else are we gonna talk about?
Okay. So I watched this show, and it's in its 3rd season. It's been around for a while, and it's been on my Crunchyroll queue forever. It's called Yamishibai, Japanese Ghost Stories. And
I didn't even talk about this. You told me
yeah,
about
it's weird, and just put it on, and we ended up watching, I think, the first 2 seasons. Is
it short?
They're all about 5 minutes long, and they're just short little horror stories. And they're really cool. They're really, like, I don't know, low budget is the right word, but they look like, it looks like a pop-up book, almost. Like, if you open the book, and, like, a character would appear. Now, so if you have a character on screen, they would appear in one motion, and if they have to, like, run, it would basically just be that same, like, character motion just going across the screen. Like, they wouldn't, like, be moving. And at first I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. But after the first episode, I was like, nope, this is fine. It's totally, like, doing what it needs to do to tell the creepy story. And yeah, they're just little, like, some of them are based off, like, Japanese folklore and stuff. Like, the first one is, I will just spoil it, because the first 5 minutes, it's this guy, he moves into a new apartment, and he sees, like, a creepy lady who, like, lives across the street, is always staring at him, and he's like, what the hell? And he wakes up in the middle of the night that night, and, like, thinks he sees her, and he, like, freaks out, and finds a talisman, like, on a piece of paper, just, like, something written on a piece of paper, and it's not translated, so I don't know if it's supposed to say something or if it even matters. But he finds this talisman, and he's like, this is really weird, and then, after he wakes up, he's like, okay, well, the lady wasn't really in my house, I just dreamed that.
Yeah.
And then the next night, the same thing, he tears up the thing, throws it away. The next night, the same thing happens, and then the next night, he finally wakes up, and he does catch the woman in his house. And he freaks out, and he calls the police, and they come, and they arrest the woman, they take her away in the squad car, and, yeah.
I know that's what it is.
And she just looks really creepy, the typical, like, Japanese horror, like, long black hair.
Coming.
Yeah. And so then he finally goes back into his house after it's all said and done, and he sees another talisman on the floor, and then he looks under his table, and he realizes that the entire under the side of the table is covered in these talismans. And so he, like, freaks out, and he rips them all up and throws them away, and then that night, like, a demon comes and, like, devours him or something like that. And it's all just told in, 5 minutes, very limited voicing and characters and all that stuff, or visuals. Yeah, and she was just there the entire time just trying to protect him because she knew this house was, like, haunted or whatever. So yeah, it's those types of stories. There's always, like, that gotcha moment at the end of it. They're almost like, what is it called?
I know you're talking
Not
about.
Black Mirror. What's the original one called? What the fuck? Twilight Zone. Jesus.
We're not having a good day.
We're not. It's okay. It's earlier in the day.
I knew exactly right what you said. Oh, I always have, like, a thing at the end. I was like, oh, it's like
a short version.
Oh, Twilight Zone.
Short Japanese horror Twilight Zone. They're really cool, and that's what we're just burning through them. Some of them are really creepy. Not all of them are good. You can't win them all, but for the most part, they're good. And the opening thing is this like old, like, Japanese man. Well, he has a mask of a Japanese man, just, like, hitting, like, a little drum and, like, calling kids around to come and, like, listen to his stories, and the way he says Yamishibai is really creepy. So that just, like, the intro sets the tone every time. I'm like, I don't know, this is pretty weird. Yeah, the show's it's good. I wish I was watching it around Halloween time because it's good stuff. Plus, I like Japanese horror anyway, and, like, the folklore and folktales, all that stuff.
Good stuff.
It's pretty creepy. Yeah, we binged a lot of that. We watched another short. This one's been around for a while as well. It's been in my queue for a while, but I never got around to watching it until, again, Jess watched it. Usually that's how things go. I put things in my Crunchyroll queue, and then I don't watch them, and then Jess watches them, and then I will finally catch up with her. But I can't understand what my husband is saying.
Yeah, I've seen
the entire name of the anime.
Like, he's an otaku and she's not.
Yeah. She's just, like, likes to drink and wants to have sex with him all the time, but he is just, like, a huge otaku. Well, he's actually, like, he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
He's like a huge nerd, but he also like he like has a hot wife because he like knows how to be like relatively normal. Yeah, and it's just basically about a woman who's dating a nerd and like them trying to like live happily together. But they actually do seem to like each other a lot. But it's just all these like weird situations. He has a little brother who has like a fetish for him. He like his little brother like pretends to be a girl and then like tries to like take baths with his older brother. Like it's very weird, but like everybody's always freaking out, and like people will come over. Like one of the husband's friends is like comes over and is like hitting on the little brother thinking it's a little girl, and then calls him angrily in the middle of the night being like, "You said, I thought this was your little sister." He's like, "No, I never said that." He's like, all right, just here anyway. Yeah, again, another short show talking 2,000 miles a minute just like me, covering just little like incidental things that would happen in like a day-to-day life between a like a hot regular lady and then a huge nerd. So yeah, those are the two shorts. Very different. One's comedy.
Very different.
I like the short style comedy stuff.
Yeah.
Same thing with Galko-chan.
Yeah.
Which the manga came out. I made a video of that. But the manga's really good because it's set up in a good way. Please tell me Galko-chan in case whoever's listening doesn't remember. It's a series about she's the Nendoro's over there. A series about basically like a high school girl's asking questions about like puberty and growing up and just like weird things that kids might wonder about. It's them asking those questions and then coming up with their answers for them, which aren't always correct answers, but their answers nonetheless. The manga is that same way. The top of the page will say the question. The content of the rest of the page will be them talking about it, and then on the sides there's like character bios that basically like say the real deal of all of it.
Yeah.
But the formula works really, really well. It's very funny.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm glad I picked it up.
Ordered it. I think it's gonna be here soon for me.
Oh yeah, it's in all color too.
So I was like, you know what? I really like that. I want to read it because I know I read some of it, but it was like weird on the website I read it on.
Yeah, it definitely seems like something that's a little bit difficult to read online.
It wasn't even that. It was just like it was fine, but it was like the way like the chapters were all weird. Like it wasn't just like, hey, here's the first couple of chapters. It was like, oh, we only have like these random chapters, and I was like, well, that's not helpful to me. Like I've already seen some of this, and some of it's just like. It's like, oh, chapters like 1, like 2, 3, 4, like 15. It's like, where
like, what is
the rest
happening?
of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to get that. I'll be excited to see that. I didn't watch your video because I hate you, so.
That's okay. It
honestly, I just unsubscribed.
It's youtube.com/localbones. It's the new URL.
Yeah, thing. I think you follow people on YouTube, so do that.
Yeah, what?
Because you were confused earlier.
I was confused earlier. But as I think I say in the video, it seems like something like Galko is like incredibly busty. There's really no way to get around that. And they talk about boobs and like nipples a lot. Nipples specifically come up a lot.
Yeah. Right.
And so, I mean, you might be like, okay, well, it's just like a pervy comedy, like no big deal. But it's really not pervy. Like that's not the right word for it. It's not perverted. It's like just curious. It's like sexually uninformed people who are very curious about like their bodies of like. Of their own sex and then of the opposite sex. They just like they don't know stuff, so they're just curious about it and they talk about it. And it's not all sexual stuff. It's just I feel like
we've talked about it.
Yeah, but the beginning part of the manga, especially like the first like 2 chapters, it's mostly stuff like that, and they just like boobs just keep coming up. But the rest of it, there's like plenty of other questions about stuff.
Yeah,
and I never. It's not like creepy.
It's not creepy.
It's the subject matter, like a girl going through puberty. Like it should be weird, but like it's really just, it's just funny. And because you're like, oh yeah, I remember being a kid and thinking that stupid shit, you know.
Even though they're like high school.
They are. You know, I remember sex education is way different in Japan. They don't get that until they're a little bit older. We got it in like 5th grade, right?
Yeah, we got it super young.
Yeah.
Well, then we got like the baby version, then we got like the slightly better.
They're like, well,
version.
kids, you better start fucking. We're like, I don't what?
That's not at all what happened. It's the complete opposite.
No, I know.
5th grade, it was like, hey, here's what makes boys and girls different, and like what's gonna happen in puberty. And then I think we went like 6th or 7th grade when it was like, hey, here's like actual sex ed.
Yeah. Because y'all gonna start fucking.
And then in high school we had like health class, which was dumb.
And our health teacher just put his entire arm inside of a condom.
I had a lady health.
And he was like, look.
Yeah.
Look, you can put the and then he's like, somebody else put your arm in here with me, and everybody's like,
You're like, I'll do it.
Do we have to?
No.
Then he made some girl get up and do it.
Because probably like I can't have a guy do it because that'll probably rip it and it'll ruin the whole
if I put my
illusion.
arm in there, the shit would have ripped in half.
Especially with like his, you guys would have destroyed
I would
it.
recommend not trying that with your condoms. I don't know.
Do it. Get an extra one, do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but if you like gotta use it, like don't you like?
Oh yeah, don't do it before you use it.
Probably can't be safe. Galko does not approve.
I don't know if they were talking about. No.
There's a great gag in that where they.
What are you talking about? The rubber?
Well, yeah, Galco says that she has like anything that her friend is like, whoa, you carry so much stuff in your bag.
Yeah.
She's like, oh yeah, I have anything you need, just in case you run into a situation.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, do you have tampons? And she's like, no, because they think that you, if you're a virgin, you can't use tampons. That's just something they believe. So she's like, doesn't have them. I mean, well, that's what Galco thinks anyway. So when the girl asks her, she knows that Galco will freak out. She's like, no, I don't have those. And then she's like, oh yeah, I need some rubbers too. She's like, oh, I don't have those. She's like, come on, quit holding out on me. Just give me some rubbers. And then the other girl, who's like, they keep calling her an airhead, even though she's like brilliant in every way.
Yeah. Well, she's like
perfect.
She's really smart, but she doesn't have any. She's not like street smart.
Yeah. Well, that plays in here because she's like, oh, rubbers. I have rubbers, and it shows like a thought bubble of her thinking of like elastic bands, like for your hair. And she's like, oh, I have them in like all different colors and like for different needs. And the girls are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? And then they realize like what she's talking about. And somebody's like, that's not what rubbers are.
Because then I think in the show it's better because they talk about. She thinks they're talking about erasers. I think.
Oh yeah.
Which makes sense because I'm pretty sure other places call those rubbers because it's basically a rubber. Yeah. And it's like made out of like rubber or whatever. So she's like, oh yeah, I got a bunch of those, and they're like, what? And she's like, yeah, I've got all these. And they're like, oh, no, we're talking about like condoms. And she's like, and she gets all freaked out.
It's a lot of fun.
Show.
I don't know why recently. Just I guess it's my attention span. I just watch a lot of really short series. There's 3 of them now that I watched in the last 2 weeks.
Really?
I mean, not all of them because I'm too lazy to finish anything.
Toradora is not short.
No, neither is Fullmetal Alchemist, which I'm still watching that. But I don't need to talk about that right now because I'm not far enough in to like
have any.
Yeah, when I finish like a chunk of it, then I'll come back and talk about it more. But I mean, it's still really good. It's really no way getting around that. I started reading the manga too. So I like reading manga. You know that about me.
I mean, that's why you're on this podcast.
That is why I'm on this podcast. The first volume of the manga, as we talked about, I was afraid that it was just going to rehash what I just watched in the anime. But there were 2 segments that I had never seen before. So they might come up later in the anime, but they haven't yet. So
yeah, it might be paced better in the anime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably is.
Like Attack on Titan. It's like that's one of those things where people always complain about the anime of Attack on Titan and be like, wow, this is paced really weird. It's like you don't even know until you've read the manga, and then it's like, because in the show it's like, oh, here's them all training. Now they're going into the thing, whatever. In the manga, it's like the beginning part. Here's some of them training. Here's some of them later on. Go back to them training. Like go back, like for them further on. Or it's back to them training again. You're like, it's like
it keeps jumping back and forth.
Yeah, it's like jumping back and forth, and like it's like, hey, let's spend like 3 chapters on them cleaning that castle out. Where it's like half an episode
because they wanted to have Levi in that like maid's outfit or whatever he wears.
But yeah,
is that his name? It's Levi, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm never sure if it's Levi or if it's like Levi.
It is Levi. I always thought it was Levi too because I was like, it can't be Levi.
It can't be Levi.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. That's what it is. Which I guess it is a name, so it does make more sense. But for the reason I thought it's like it doesn't sound Japanese.
Mikasa's really the only one with a Japanese name, though, right?
She's the only Japanese one,
right?
Really.
There she is back there.
Yep.
I have to grab her, just so everybody knows.
Careful.
Just so that the visual audience knows.
Get over the little stuff from.
We need to find out when Attack on Titan season 2 is coming around.
I'm pretty sure it's next year.
Yeah. Right. That's news, right? People.
Summer 2017.
People like Attack on Titan.
I want to say spring or summer.
Cool.
Because everyone was like, "Oh, it's coming out." Because it was like that thing came out where they like, whoever makes Attack on Titan, like the anime, not the manga, was like said something about it, and people automatically assumed it meant like, "Oh, it's coming out this year," and they're like, "No, it's not. It's coming out like 2017."
So that's the thing is, I don't think that they knew that they had such a hit on their hands.
I think it's not like that. It's that they didn't have enough stuff to do it.
Right.
Like, I think the manga's chapter like 80 something now.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And like, I want to say the first season was like 30 something chapters.
Wow.
But that was, and I want to say when the first season finished, there was only like 40 or 50 chapters out. So they were like, we can't like make a second season right now because we don't want to be like half of the shows where we're like, oh yeah, the manga's got 10 chapters out. Let's just make 30 episodes of the show and then have to make up halfway through.
Whenever they do that, it's like, I mean, that's what happened with the first season of Fullmetal Alchemist. Blue Exorcist seems to have gone that way. I just found out that Akami Got Killed does that. People seem to not be happy with what people who read the manga seem to not be happy.
Tokyo Ghoul does it too.
Tokyo Ghoul does it. That's right. That's right. You're right. No, you're right. It doesn't seem like the best call. I mean, I guess sometimes it could be better. Just because
it's alright.
Something's written doesn't mean that it's
Blue Exorcist is definitely the manga's better.
Yeah, they're coming back now.
Yeah,
Soon. I don't know if that means that they're gonna follow the manga or if they're just continuing with what they had. I don't know.
I don't know. Because I know that, like, I'm pretty sure some of what happens in the anime is, like, kind of related to what's going to happen in the manga. It's not, like, it doesn't happen that way, but it's like, oh, yeah, you can see that they were probably like, oh, well, this is what I plan to have happen at some point, like, these plot points. And then the show is like, all right, well, we'll take some of those and just do it our own way. But yeah, it's definitely, I think it was a smart move with Attack on Titan to be like, hey, let's not make a second season right away. Let's wait until we have, like, 50 more chapters.
Right.
And then we'll,
That was what, 2014 or 2013?
So. I think it's, yeah,
it was 2014.
Yeah, because everyone was like, oh, it's coming out next year. And then it was like, no. And then they were like, oh, it's coming out in 2016. And then it was like, no.
No, still
Because it was like, yeah, they like made some trailer for something. Or like they were starting to work on something. And everyone was like, it's Attack on Titan Season 2. And they were like, we didn't say that. Stop.
Everybody relax.
Like, we'll let you know when it's actually going to be a thing.
It's just crazy that, like, stuff like Bleach, Naruto, Fairy Tail, all that, One Piece, obviously. I don't know, like, how long they go before they get adapted into anime, but because those are all such humongous series,
I don't want to say it was humongous that long for any of them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
a few years, maybe.
Yeah, and then suddenly you have an anime, and then I mean, I guess there's filler arcs. That's how they do it.
Well, I think the thing is, it's probably more so that like Japan is like, oh, hey, his manga's selling well, so let's make an anime of it. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're like, oh, Americans like this, let's make an anime of it. Yeah. They don't care.
Right. No, I know. I just because of we always reach that point where you have to, oh, okay, well, we have to kind of go our own path with this because the manga's not finished yet. And then, again, I guess that's where I think it's filler arcs.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like, they probably like, well, we're smart enough to know to wait until we have at least this many chapters of this thing out before we can make an anime of it. And then they're like, we'll see how it does. And it's like, ooh, it's really popular, the show, but they can't make the manga as fast as we can make the anime, so we'll just take it in our own direction.
And they made, for Attack on Titan, it's like, okay, well, we waited 3 years for this. We're going to put out our 25-episode season, and then we're going to do a filler season, because who knows, maybe they're just going to be like, yeah, we want to make Attack on Titan. We want to make money off of this. Who knows? If it's still going to be as successful. They just be like, okay, well, this is how we're going to plan out our filler season. This is how it will fit into the story, and then we'll come back, 2 years after that and make the third real season.
What I would do without them is second season, because there's whatever how many chapters, you can do a good chunk of it. I'm pretty sure back when they were announcing second season, I was like, oh, this would be the perfect ending point. I can't remember what it is now. I'm not going to say it anyway because it would be a spoiler. But there was a point in the manga that I was like, this would be a perfect ending for the second season. Like, I know where the second season is going to start, because they make it pretty obvious in the show. Yeah. And it's like, this would be perfect for ending it, and then you, like, wait, and then you make the third season with this point on. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of, like, I know there's a Levi manga about him, like, when he's younger.
There is.
So you could easily make that into, like, a 12-episode in between, like, hey, we're waiting for more chapters to come out. Here, have this. Mm-hmm. People love him, so
it's true.
It'd be a good, like, filler season.
And it's like canon filler too.
Yeah, it's all like, oh, well, it's like, I think there's no. I'm just still thinking of that one. But yeah, that's what I would do if I was on make second season, then be like, hey, here's like a spin-off, shorter season.
Keep people happy.
Yeah,
but also that way you can still make Attack on Titan, but wait for the.
Still make a ton of money.
Because I know that a lot of people don't
sell more toys.
Like filler, like a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any like seasons of filler that I've ever watched that I like know about. But people like
Bleach ones.
Yeah, that's true. But if you ever watch or look at lists of like, oh, this is how you should watch One Piece if you want to like get caught up, you can skip like over 100 episodes practically.
Yeah.
Because you just don't need to watch the filler. Like, it doesn't matter. But then you'll have some people being like, well, these filler arcs are actually really good. They're just, they're not from the manga, but they're still really good. And it's...
I want to say that, like, the first Bleach ones aren't great, but then there's a certain point where, like, oh, these fillers are actually, like, really good.
Yeah, I don't know the later ones at all.
I don't either. I only watched up to a certain point.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I ever
will.
But...
I can't go through with this. Right. It's too many episodes.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. That's why I'm rereading DBZ, but, like, I don't know if I could...
Rewatch
I
it.
certainly couldn't watch DBZ. Maybe Kai if I was feeling lucky. But even that, it's like...
Well, you got Super. I feel like that's just... You know enough about Dragon Ball. It doesn't really matter if you remember every single thing that happens.
Yeah, I'm definitely just going to watch Super.
It is one of those shows where it's like, yeah, it does have, like, a plot, but it's not, like, I feel like as important as some of the things.
It's when we were kids, I watched the Frieza saga. Or no, the Saiyan saga. Like, the first part of Dragon Ball. And then watched...
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, sorry. And then I watched the Buu saga. because that's what they started airing. And then I went back and watched more when they like aired it again.
Yeah.
Because they just like kept hopping between the two. So it was just a weird thing to like watch some of the beginning and then watch the end and then go watch them.
Yeah,
at the
because one of the
beginning
things
again.
it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't matter. You know,
Right,
the gist
but I've been
is
doing
happening.
that with Dragon Ball Super because they're like the Future Trunks arcs, and like I'm into that.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the beginning, and I'm like, well, like the screenshots I'm looking at like seem pretty cool. So I just like watched a bunch of the new episodes, and I was like, all right, go back now, and then I'll get back up there, and then this will have more context. But
That's the thing is, well, you can do that to a point where like you can start the different arcs or whenever you want. The sagas, I guess, is what they're called. But like, I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, start Cell Saga from like episode 5. You'd be like, no, you'd want to start it from episode 1, but you could watch Cell Saga before you watch Frieza or even the Saiyan one. It doesn't matter.
like I don't have the full context for what's going on in this arc, but it's, you know, the bad guy is pissed that Trunks fucked with time, like back in the day when he went to the Cell, or to fight Cell and all, or the androids or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, yeah, now you have to deal with that. So we're gonna fuck you. So then Goku and Vegeta have to go to the future to try and save him. Just it's like the reverse of what they did before.
Yeah,
it's
it
cool.
always seems cool. Whatever stuff I've seen about it, I was like, at some point I'll watch this.
There's a fusion. There's a spirit sword instead of a spirit bomb.
Nice.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Like
I don't.
Kuwabara from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, the sports.
I was watching the video about not Kuwabara about
Kuwabara?
yeah, his name's Kuwabara.
Right.
I was watching a video about that last night just because I want to keep watching Yu Yu Hakusho. I think I talked about it a little bit a couple episodes ago in here.
Yeah.
Because I watched like 5 episodes one night. It totally holds up. It's really cool.
Yeah, I need to watch it too. I loved that show.
Like Kuwabara, in that video they said it's like a old Japanese like I don't know, prayer, but just like chant that you're supposed to say to keep lightning away from you.
That's why what's his name says it.
Yeah, Vulcan. And,
That's him. I couldn't think of his
in
name.
Metal Gear Solid 3. Yeah, I remember when he first is saying that. Metal Gear Solid 3 is like my favorite game. So, but whenever I first heard Vulcan say Kuwabara, I was like, the dude from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Because you were that age, it was like around the same time. You were like, why is he
I was
saying?
like, why's he saying his name? I don't get it.
Is this something in Japan that I don't know about? They friends?
Yeah.
Like not Vulcan and Kuwabara, but like
The creator.
Kojima and like whoever creates Yu Yu
yeah.
Hakusho. Like, oh, they friends. So he's
The
like,
creator of Yu Yu Hakusho is married to the creator of Sailor Moon. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew?
pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. You know that Bleach was supposed to be called Black? And they were like, that's too boring, or it's too generic. And he's like, I'm going to call it White. And they're like, that's also too generic, Kubo. it's just the opposite. He's like, Bleach, because that's also white. And they probably, I always assumed it was inspired by the Nirvana album, but maybe it still was.
I don't think so. Even though you look
R.I.P. Kurt Cobain.
even though you're dressed like Kurt
I'm
Cobain right
definitely
now.
dressed like a Nirvana fan. I have my kanji shirt on, though,
Yeah.
from Persona 4. Oh, man, it's covered in dog hair.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not allergic to dogs.
No, you're fine.
So it's all good.
It looks way creepier when like your shirt covers up like half of it.
Yeah, it looks like a more serious skull. Like I had my leather jacket on earlier. Like it looked like a typical like I like rock and roll guy.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, that skull's actually kind of goofy.
It's a very timid skull. Let's see. What else have I been looking at?
I don't know.
Oh, I forgot. I started reading Black Clover.
Yes.
It's a new series from Shonen Jump. They have plenty of series, but
It's
this
been out for a while.
this
but,
yeah.
you know,
Well, volume
you
5 is about
American
to.
losers can probably read it.
That's right.
No.
Volume 5 is about to come out, so that's we're a few volumes in, which made me very happy when I found that out. Somebody online was like, "Yeah, dude, like Volume 3 just came out. This was a couple months ago," and I was like, "Oh, sick."
Word. You can.
I think
buy
it was Tom on
Yeah, you
Twitter.
bought
He,
it, right?
he told me that. Yeah, I bought it.
I wasn't sure if it was on Crunchyroll. They have a bunch of stuff. I should probably look there before you start buying stuff.
Yeah, you're right. I need to.
I mean, you can buy it
remember.
afterwards, but read it first.
Yeah, you're right.
Instead of just being like, oh, take a chance to read this thing, and then be like, oh, I hate this. Like, whatever, when you got 2 of that, is it wrong to pick up Girls in the Dungeons because you got the light novel?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have the manga, and you're like, I don't like this.
I don't think. Yeah, I did.
It's like, you should have tried to
That's
read
because I was listening to another anime podcast, and these girls were talking about it in a way that I was like, oh, well, they don't think it's like creepy or pervy. Like they're probably right. They weren't. It was. I couldn't hang with it. But Black Clover is almost like it's like Harry Potter meets Naruto.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's like the best way to describe it. It's about these 2 orphan boys who were raised in this church. Asta is the name of the main character, and the other guy's name is.
Other guy?
It's slipped my memory. It doesn't matter. He's like the cool guy with black hair, and the main character looks like a typical like shonen hero, with like
crazy hair color,
spiky hair and all that. I think his hair it's like whitish blonde. It's it's like kind of normal, yeah. But everybody has magical powers in this universe except for Asta. He has literally 0 magic powers.
Makes sense.
And when you're 15, you get a grimoire, and it's a magic book, and like it like appears to you at like this ceremony basically, and you're like, it just like whatever one your like magic or your spirit calls out to, like it comes to you. And since he has no magic ability, they're like, you're not going to get one, you're a loser. And his friend is like the greatest wizard to ever live, or he's clearly going to be. So his friend gets this like awesome book with all these spells in it, and it's like, "Whoa, you're the man! You're gonna be like the next Wizard King," because that's the whole. Instead of Hokage, it's Wizard King. And I wish, again, I said this to you the other day. I wish they had like, just like the Japanese names, because I bet Wizard King sounds cooler in Japanese.
Yeah.
and then they're the Magic Knights, like I guess, or the Mage Knights, one or the other.
What did they call the uniforms in Kill la Kill in English? It's something dumb.
Oh, I don't even know.
It's like, cause it's like
I watched that Japanese.
It's like whatever. It's like Goku uniforms or whatever in.
Yeah.
Japanese, and then in English it's like power uniform. You're like,
yeah,
what?
it is something like that. Yeah,
you're like, huh?
Right. Yeah.
Excuse me?
But yeah, so the Asta, he's like, okay, well, I'm not going to get a book. He works really, really hard every day. He's like One Punch Man. He just like works out every day because he can't use magic, so he just tries to like improve himself in other ways. And he's able to get a grimoire, it appears to him, but it's like this like flimsy old beat to shit thing, and shit goes down, and everybody's talking shit to him. Like some bad guy shows up and starts attacking his town, and everything's bad. And he's able to pull a sword out of his book, and like I guess that's his power because it just repels magic. And it can like cut magic, but he just himself can't use any magic. So he has an effective weapon against mages, but can't do anything himself. And then the first volume just follows them going to basically like this magic academy type thing to like become a knight. Yeah. I don't really know where it's going to go, but Asta, because he can't use any magic, but he's still pretty tough, and he has that sword. He gets brought into like the lowest group. They're all just like ruffians and like thugs essentially. So he's not like one of these like awesome like super high and mighty knights. He's just like with like the thugs basically. And they're supposed to, he's going to train with them and see if he can become a knight like everybody else. Blah 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 blah. As I said to you, is so far that first volume. It's so full of tropes. Everything that happened in it, I could just be like, that's what's gonna happen. Yep. But the thing that really, and I get, it's just Harry Potter meets Naruto. Like you don't even it's nothing really even unique in that. But it's really funny, and that's what made me buy the next volume. Yeah. Because I was just like, well, this made me laugh basically the whole time I was reading it, so I can totally deal with it being tropey, at least for now. I might get sick of it after a certain point. Yeah. And shonen stuff is always like supposed to be a little bit funny, but for some reason, the jokes in this were getting me. There's some poop jokes, but just there's all these little comments made outside of dialogue boxes. Yeah, or the speech bubble, whatever. They'll say something and then it's just like we'll say something else next to it, like somebody just muttering something under their breath, and it does it all the time. And there's like full conversations held outside of the speech bubbles, and it just they're funny and they add a lot of life to an otherwise like stale story, I guess. And now shonen beginnings are probably the most similar. Yeah. So we'll see where it goes from here. But if you like shonen, it's cool. I don't know how successful it is. I don't know how popular it is. Hasn't reached that level yet because it's still fairly new. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of a certain magical index. I think that's what it's called. I want to say it does, but I can't remember exactly the plot of that show. I remember the main part of it, but the main character is I think it's like a world where everyone has like magical powers or something like that, and then he doesn't. Yeah. Or he like can absorb magic and no one else can. But it's still considered a shitty power. It's something very similar to that, like character wise. Which I only watched like one season of that show, and I was like, it's pretty good. Him and his friend have like both vowed to become the next Wizard King because there's a lot of classism involved in it. Like the upper classes just think that they're better than everybody else, and the Wizard King has always been somebody from the upper class. Now, so I'm trying to think of the way I wanted to say that. Something about the system. Yeah, it's just the system's keeping you down. The system. Yeah, they overthrow the system. I think that's what I was going for. Yeah, there you go. So him and his friend, they're like, oh yeah, well we'll vow to be the Wizard King so we can like change the world and we can help our little village. It's also important to note that Asta is in love with the nun at the church that he was. Oh, there's also a nun in a certain magical index. The very first page. Very similar. The very first page is him just screaming. Then it's like the huge words. And everybody in town can hear him just asking the nun to marry him, and she's like, I can't. And then his friend shows up and he's like, first of all, she's a nun. Second of all, you're 15, so you can't marry her. Sorry, dude. But they both vow to be the Wizard King. His friend I think he has the Black Clover grimoire. I think that's why show was called that. It's supposed to be like really lucky, and it's
Manga.
supposed to be the manga, or it's just supposed to be like an omen of like greatness, and everybody's like, oh, is he supposed to be like the fabled wizard king who's gonna come and save us all? And Asta, I think, also has a 5-leaf clover or something like that on his grimoire, and his is supposed to be just like luck, rather than like skill or magic or anything else. It's like he just has this like the gift of luck, basically. So we'll see how that plays into everything.
Like, has he used the thing more than just the sword?
No, not yet.
Because I'm thinking, like, what if it's like just gives him whatever he needs in that situation?
Yeah, that's very possible.
That's what like the luck is.
Right now, he's just been pulling out the sword because he doesn't know what else to do.
Like, he might be like, oh, well, like, I can pull out this thing, which will stop this magic spell because it's exactly what I need.
Right. So there's that, but it's just, him and his friend want to save their village, basically, by becoming the king and, like, making everything good for everybody. But, they got a long road ahead of them.
They sure do.
We'll
Especially
see how...
because you're only on the very beginning, and there's a ton of that.
Yeah. So I think that about covers everything that I've been watching and reading this past week.
Yeah.
I watched the Rurouni Kenshin live-action movie.
Yeah, you said that, like, you stopped. Why did you stop?
It was just really long.
Yeah.
It was like 2.5 hours long, and I threw it on one night. Like, oh, I'm going to finish it. Now, I was going to buy the Blu-ray of it, because I wanted to watch it, but the Blu-ray only had the English voices.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, there's no... You could buy the Japanese one, and they have English subs, but, like, the menus be all in Japanese, and I was like, what the heck? Like, this is...
That's weird.
Why?
That's really weird.
I guess they just didn't license the Japanese audio. I really don't understand it.
I feel like that's one of like the only things that ever does that.
Yeah. But Funimation had it streaming on the service, so I can watch it for free.
Yeah.
It's in English, and it was really jarring at first, but after a little while I was able to get used to it. It just, like, it loses some of its weight when, like, this dude is, like, who plays Kenshin is, like, crouched down in the rain about to pull his sword out, and it's somebody else's voice coming through, and, like, the voice, we did a fine job, but it feels detached from the man who's standing in the rain.
That's not his voice.
Some of the voices were people who played the characters in Rurouni Kenshin, so
That's
that
cool.
was, like, kind of cool. Overall, the movie was fine, I guess. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I watched the other two. I wasn't as, like, stoked on it by the end as I was at the beginning, because they take... The beginning is actually really good. They take the first few, like, episodic things from Kenshin and make it into one situation. So the first bad guy that Kenshin faces is the fake Batosai, the one who's pretending to be him.
Yeah.
And Kaoru was all pissed about that. First of all, they call them... he's Batosai the Kill Sword. That's how they translated it.
That's awful.
And Kill Sword might be an accurate translation, but anybody who's watched it in English knows it as Batosai the Manslayer, and it's also like Hitokiri Batosai. Just call him that. That's what they call him in the manga. Because Hitokiri is like a title that they use is for assassin, that specific type. But so it's Batosai the Kill Sword. Drives me insane because I've watched that anime so many times. Batosai the Manslayer. Just say it that way. Like, Manslayer's not that cool either, but that's how we all know it. Just stick with it. So that drove me a little crazy. But so they take the fake Batosai, who uses Kaoru style, and that's the first enemy. And then the second enemy is Jinne, the guy who comes back, and he uses, like, the mind powers on people. He, like, freezes them.
I forgot how weird that
that show's super weird. And then he's like, it's not even magic. It's just, like, imposing your will on others.
Remember what's the guy with bandages?
Sanosuke?
No, the bandages.
Oh,
The bad
Shishio.
guy. Yeah, he's the one that has, like, or is that guy you're the figure of that has, like, the demon dude who's, like, arms are really long, but it's like, oh, they're not long. It's just a shirt.
It's Aoshi's.
Yeah, it was like, good.
Yeah.
You're like, that's what? You're like, that's the dumbest.
He's the ninja guy, yeah, because it creates an optical illusion on his sleeve because there's stripe, so that it's only like a fraction of an inch that it's like a difference of. But Kenshin's just getting punched in the face because he's like, oh, I'm just confused. Like, I feel like it would only confuse somebody who is, like, crazy, ultra hyper aware of everything that's happening, who's just so focused in that like half a centimeter that it's creating an optical illusion of would confuse him because he's like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
so Kenshin holds out his sword to measure it and get punched in the face.
The show is ridiculous.
And then everyone's like, Kenshin, no. And then he's like, no, everybody, it's fine. I got it. I figured it out.
The show's great.
You're like, yeah, but you just got your fucking jaw broken.
No, it's fine.
It's fine.
We just snap that back into place.
So, okay.
Sorry about that.
So they take fake Batosai. Then they take the next guy, who's Jinne, who comes back from the past, and he freezes people with his eyes. and he kidnaps Kaoru at some point. He doesn't do that at this point in the movie, but that character. And then the third arc is the opium guy whose name is Kanryu Takeda. He's the one who hires not the Shinsengumi, the Aoshi's like ninja crew. Their name is escaping me right now too. It doesn't matter. It combines all three of those into one character. So the guy who's pretending to be Batosai is Janae, and Janae works for Aoshi, who's not in the movie. They just took him out because he's probably he's kind of important in Kenshin,
yeah,
but doesn't serve any like legit purpose. So maybe they'll bring him up. And there was another guy, the guy with the mask, rather than having stretchy arms.
Yeah,
I think he was kind of supposed to be a little bit like Aoshi because they have like an intense fight and he has two like small swords. Anyway, it was cool that they combined the three characters into one, and they did it in like a pretty decent way. But as the movie went on, they take down Takeda, Kanryu Takeda, the opium dude, and Saito. They throw everybody into this movie. Yahiko and Sanosuke don't need to be in the movie at all, but they are, because it's just like they should have just been Kaoru's friends rather than trying to like put them in somehow and then they become friends with Kenshin. But they have their own little like moments. And then Hajime Saito, who's like Kenshin's old rival from when they were in the war, but also tries to bring Kenshin back so that they can fight Shishio later on. They all go and they just do all the things. They do all the things together, and the movie should end at 2 hours. But then there's a third half hour where the Jinei guy kidnaps Kaoru like he does in the anime, and then Kenshin has to go and save her, and then not become the Batosai again. So at the end of the movie fell apart a little bit. But for a while it was going good. It was like it's just mainlining this story, making all the important characters. They're fusing them into like one each, so that we can just get through it and get to the end. And I liked it up until the end, and then it felt a little bit weird. And also for a long time they didn't focus on any of the attacks, like any of their special moves. Yeah. But then the final battle they like started to do it a little bit, and it looked really weird. I was like, when Kenshin puts his sword away and does his his special like slash attack, I guess, whatever the hell it does. They could have just made it so that he like moved really fast or like hits the dude super fast, but instead he just goes like Kenshin flies through the air to do it. It's just, I was like, why'd you do it that way? You could have just made it so it's like a quick flash and that nobody can even see it and take him. I don't know. Movie was fine, but the ending got a little bit much. I couldn't even get my sentences out with that because it's just I mean, it was cool. It was an enjoyable movie, but it's not like it was a weird. In some ways, it was a good adaptation. In some ways, it was a bad adaptation because some of that stuff shouldn't be made into live action.
Yeah, you don't need to have them have special moves.
They could have just like made his fighting style specific, but yeah, he doesn't need to be doing those attacks. So that was the last thing that I watched, and it was okay. It's on Funimation, so if you have Funimation and you like Kenshin, you can check it out. But yeah. Also, they included stuff from Samurai X, how he got his first scar. They showed that, so. It was just more information put into the movie. It was
sounds like they put too much into it.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. At first, it was like because it was just following like basically one storyline, but fused like three into one.
Yeah,
it worked. And it's just when they went off into all those other directions, then I'm like, oh, I get that there's 2 more movies and they're going to be covering a lot, but I don't know. I feel like they could have saved some of it. They could have showed his backstory in the second movie rather than like try to force it into the middle of the first movie. Regardless, that's that. Do you have a recommended manga for this week?
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you right as you're trying to burp.
Right as I'm burping and like dying. Yeah, just...
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Silent Voice.
Oh.
I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast before.
We talked about the Silent Voice.
Silent Voice, not the Silent Voice.
Yeah. Well, Silent Voice, the movie. I think you mentioned that, but we haven't really talked about the...
It's on Crunchyroll. You can also buy it with Amazon.
Cool.
I don't know how it is for people who aren't in America, so... Sorry. I know that in America you can read it on Crunchyroll or you can buy it off of Amazon. I assume if you're from other places, it's available. I know it's available in Japan because that's where it came from.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's depressing and sad.
What is it about?
It's about this kid. I think he just enters high school or he's about to enter high school, and he used to be like goofy, like. Rough, not really rough. Like he was like a kind of a bad kid in middle school, and in his class, a deaf girl gets brought into the class, and he basically just starts fucking with her, and then like the whole class starts fucking with her because they're like, oh, she's deaf and weird, and this is how Japan actually is. But like no one wants to admit that.
Right.
And he just starts fucking with her, and then at some point, like, it gets to a point where she has to, like, leave. She just leaves the school because it's so bad. And then the class is basically like, well, we need a scapegoat for this, so they blame it all on him. And they're just like, oh yeah, it was all him. He, like, forced all the other kids to pick on her, and he's the one who picked on her, and it's like, you're awful, and you suck. And then he gets basically tortured for the rest of middle school. And then he comes into high school, and I don't remember why, but he's basically just like, I'm gonna kill myself, because I'm a terrible person, and I do shit, and everyone hates me, and, like, the world's better off without me. And then, I can't remember the beginning of it that much, but at some point, this is all, I think, like, because it came out as, like, one chapter, and, like, because it was, like, for some contest. And then it won the contest, and then they were basically like, yeah, you can't make this, because it doesn't show Japan in the good light. It shows us, like, how shitty we treat, like, people with disabilities.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't make this into a series. And eventually it gets picked up. But he's going to kill himself because he's just, like, he's working a job, he sells all his stuff for his money to, like, give to his mom. He's like, I'm not going to leave her with, like, nothing. He gives her, like, a ton of money. Like, a couple, like, I want to say, like, 20,000 yen, or maybe more than that. No, I think it's, like, a couple thousand US dollars.
Yeah.
And he goes to kill himself, and he either, I can't remember exactly, but he remembers the deaf girl, or he sees her, or, like, he finds something of hers. Like, she had, like, a notebook she used to, like, talk to them in. Like, she would write stuff down and be like, oh, like, hey, you want to be friends? And everyone would be like, fuck off. And then, like, he remembers that, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to kill myself right now. I want to try to, like, find this girl and make her life better. Because, like, I ruined her childhood. Like, I want to make it up to her. I want to, like, make sure she has, all, like, you know, all these friends and, like, fix all the problems that, like, I basically caused her not to have. And then it's just, like, about him trying to do that and their relationship. And then it's, like, other kids from, like, he ends up getting, like, friends. And then it's, like, other stuff happens. It's kind of hard to describe without, like, spoiling too much stuff.
Yeah, I only ever hear that it's really good.
It's
I know
really
that
good,
basic premise, and
really
then I
sad.
just hear that it's really good.
And
really
depressing.
sad. Okay.
When it's just like, I mean, there's some parts where you're like, oh yeah, happy, and then it's like, oh no, this is something.
Have you finished it? Is it over?
Yeah,
Like,
it's over. It's been over for a while. All the volumes are out on.
do we need to buckle down for the ending? We gonna want to kill ourselves?
No,
after
you're
reading
fine. You'll be fine. It's not a bad ending,
it? Okay, that's good.
but it is some.
And there's
depressing,
there's
weird
now I think
moments
there's
in
a
it.
live action movie of it.
No, it's like there's an anime movie of it.
There's an anime movie. That's right. Yeah, I didn't even mean live action. Yeah, movie. An anime
There is.
movie.
I don't think it's out in America yet. Though.
No, I think it's in theaters.
I think it wasn't theirs in like September.
Yeah.
So I think it's out
Well,
now.
then that movie, Your Name, is like been like the first or the number one like at the box office in Japan for a long time now. And Your Name, or not Your Name, I'm sorry, Your Silent Voice was up there with it. But
Yeah.
this movie, whatever the fuck it is, I know almost nothing about it. It's just now past Princess Mononoke as like the 6th highest grossing animated film of all time in Japan. So it's I think it's having a limited release here. Then I'm sure that'll get like a physical release. Or,
Yeah, it'll probably be on like Crunchyroll. Or
yeah.
something.
So I'm looking forward to seeing that. And I want to check out Silent Voice. I'll look at the Crunchyroll app later.
Yeah. There's 2 different apps, you know, by the way.
Yeah, I have
The
them.
manga
I
one.
got both.
For anyone who doesn't know, 2 apps.
Yeah. What was I going to recommend? Oh, so quick. My anime for this week is Noragami. Noragami, A
Not
Stray
the
God.
manga.
Not the manga, yeah. I mean, the manga is really good, and it goes on further than the anime, but the anime, I started the manga, I read the first 2 or 3 volumes, and then I watched all of the anime,
I've only seen the first season.
and it's so good. It's so fucking good. Like,
The theme song rips, too.
and that's really what it comes down to, is that both theme songs are so good, especially the first one, that you just gotta watch this anime. It's available on Funimation, and you can buy the Blu-rays, like those are out, like widely available. And then, I mean, the manga goes for this too, but Noragami is the title suggests, Stray God, Yato.
We not talked about this
I think I talked about it a little bit, but Yato is
I can't remember because I know what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't remember if we've talked about it,
Right.
I know what it is, or if you've said it on the show.
Yato, he's like I said, he's a stray god who you need followers basically to be or like believers and followers. It seems like you're on Twitter, but you need
They basically
a
are.
following. As a god, you need a following in order to like be powerful. So like the most powerful gods have like a ton of believers, and people like pray to them or make a wish to them or however they do it, and then that god will come and fulfill that wish, and that's how you get believers essentially.
Yeah.
But Yato is just this like no-name god who hasn't. They have these things called shiki or shinki. I'm not really sure how you say it. They're like if I was a god and Steve was like my helper, basically. Like it would be just you have like your helpers who are also the spirits of like fallen humans, I think, or like basically
Yeah.
like wayward spirits. Like you take them in and you give them a name, and then they become a tool for you.
Yeah.
In Yato's case, he takes on. Wow, I'm blanking
He
on
gets from
names.
that dude who he turns into a sword, right?
Yeah, his follower turns into a sword for him. But the anime follows Yato just trying to gain followers. Like he does like random odd jobs for people, while also fighting these these evil spirits that show up. Like he has to use his sword and like cleanse them and destroy them. In a way, it's like Bleach a little. Okay, we lost the recording for 2 seconds. But we're back.
Because someone's talking too much.
Dude, I just remembered his name. What did I say his name was?
don't know.
I said it 1 second ago. I just said it.
I was too busy fixing this.
How did I forget it again? Yukine. His name is Yukine. His sword's name is Yukine. Okay.
Well, he's a person too.
He's a person. He was a wayward spirit, and Yato takes him in. But the thing with Yato is that he's just like, he's considered to be like kind of lazy, and that's why he doesn't have a lot of people who believe in him. So that's why he can never get like anybody to stay with him. But Yukine eventually learns to get along with Yato, and
He's a bad person.
who Yukine?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. Yukine I absolutely hated, but that changed, and it changed like it seemed like it was really like on purpose. You're supposed to not like him, or I don't know. And then it got so much better in season 2, and with the manga he develops. And that's the thing about Noragami is that it brushes up against a lot of shonen type series, like Bleach. Like I was saying, like he runs around town doing favors for like spirits or whoever, and then also like cleansing evil spirits so that they won't bother people anymore with his sword, just like Ichigo. But there's just so much like character development with everybody, and like all the other gods that he meets, like Bishamon, who's this like blonde-haired badass lady who absolutely hates Yato. But everything that transpires between the two, it's just like they're both. I mean, even Bishamon in some ways is more interesting than Yato, and all of the side characters have like pretty strong personalities, and are even when they're like you don't see them a lot, they still feel like real, well-developed people, or like they just make sense. And it's not just like a character, archetype or something like that. Not like a placeholder character. Like, oh, this is just a funny pink-haired girl.
Isn't she like the god of calamities?
Yeah, she's like yeah. So it's gods versus gods. And Yato mostly just trying to have somebody believe in him in the real world. He doesn't like want power really. He kind of is just like doing his thing. And the story focuses on Yato, Yukine, his sword, who's also his like spirit, friend, learning how to like be a good person. And then Hiyori, who I haven't mentioned, is a human girl who Yato saves in the first chapter from getting hit by a bus, I think. But because he's like a spirit and he pushes her out of the way, like her spirit drops out of her body, and she's able to go back into it. But this story just revolves around her going to the far shore, which is what they call like, it's not the afterlife, but it's like you're beyond normal reality. So she's running around the real world, but she can see spirits and like gods and stuff like he can. Otherwise, if you're not on the far shore, if you're not like in touch with that, you'll like very quickly forget that if you meet a god, you'll very quickly forget that you met them. If you see a spirit, you kind of like won't react to it. I'm doing a bad job of explaining this.
Yeah, you're going really in depth into it too.
So anyway,
it's funny.
It's funny.
It's good.
It's got action. It's got drama, romance, a little bit of romance, and yeah, like Steve said, comedy. It's great all around. It has a killer.
All I can remember, all
opening.
I'm picturing in my head is that scene when he gets in the trash can.
Yeah.
Like I know that, like I remember more stuff happens, but I'm just like, that's just Noragami in a nutshell to me. Is when he just like climbs into the trash can and like puts the lid. It's like, what are you doing, dude?
That's just him. He just wears a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Like he has like this like cool like stylish hair and it's like cool katana. But he just wears a tracksuit. Like,
You have a scarf or like a
yeah, he puts this like shitty like scarf on. It's like really old too. All right, that's Noragami. I went on too long about it, but you get the idea.
Went on so long that he crashed.
Hey, went on so long that it was like, yo, cut it off, dude.
It was like, actually, we're gonna stop here.
Okay. So I think that's episode 7, right?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay. I don't know when we're gonna release this. We'll release it.
We're
We're working on getting Shonen Chomp its own iTunes feed so that it's not just on Chomp Chain.
Which doesn't really matter to you, but makes it easier on us. That's it. That's the
So
only reason.
we'll be like begging you to before we make the switch, we'll tell you or ask you to subscribe over to that so you don't miss the episodes.
Yeah, we'll tell you on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening. This has been episode 7. I'm Chris. That's Steve.
No, it's not.
Fuck.
You're all wrong.
Bye.